Oh, good.
All right, so here is SoundTrap. Welcome to SoundTrap. When you log into SoundTrap, this will be your home screen. Yours might look a little bit different than mine because I'm a teacher here, but generally you'll have this top section has a few links to videos. Once you watch introductory videos, it'll offer up different videos that'll keep training on advanced uses. Truth be told, SoundTrap is really well used in the recording industry. Well, it's used in the recording industry. Other apps like Logic are used a little bit more, but SoundTrap is sort of an up-and-comer, really started off by Spotify, and just as a way to have a great entry-level digital audio workstation for just anybody to use. And a lot of the music is electronically generated. So EDM, things like that, SoundTrap has a lot of advanced uses in that. And for our part, we're not going to be using quite as many of those features. So feel free to dig in because you all have accounts, paid accounts for it. So you can take a look at that if you'd like, but no requirement there. When you come down, you're going to find your projects. It's always defaults to that. And this purple button here, hopefully you can see my mouse, is Enter Studio. And that's going to be typically where you go. However, down here, once you go through projects, and again, mine's a little bit more complicated as we have other students already working in this. After you go through projects, you also have assignments. And once you go in later on, you should see this assignment here, which we just assigned today. And this is for the assignment that Mrs. Baxmeyer will give you more details on for scales. And so you'll be able to go down, find the homework, click into that, and then play your recording in. And then once you do that, you can submit and done all from this screen. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's go back up here and let's click Enter Studio, because if you're not doing assignments, if you're working on your own, typically that's where you'll go. Okay, so you click Enter Studio and the little dash will bounce up and down. You'll be prompted for what's going on. You're going to select music. All right, and then this brings you to the actual DAW. You're going to select music because you're not recording a podcast. Mind blown, I'm sure. All right, once in, let me give you a quick tour here. So this is your major work area. As you record music, it will go into this spot and you'll see lots of wave lines here. That is you making noises, beautiful noises at that. Okay, down here you have your record, stop, and play controls. You have your master volume control over here. Again, none of this is mind-blowing, but I'm just showing it to you just in case. Up here you have essentially the save file of the song. So you could type up here for a song. Once you do that, now you have the ability to save as you go. And like all things, save often. All right, over here we have a track listing. Now, tracks are not like those who are maybe fans of CDs. Tracks don't really exist anymore. Tracks are, moreover, sorry for the volume of that. I'm very popular and get lots of emails. Let me close that up. So in any case, tracks here are where you're going to add your individual playing. So let's say we want to record in. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click Add New Track. It's going to prompt me for what I do. And I'm like, oh, well, I played trumpet. So let me go in here. I click brass movements and it's set up as a clarinet. Now, what you need to see and notice is that this is not your place, all right? This is if I wanted to electronically create the sound of a clarinet, or really any instrument, and I can pick them all up from here. So this is not what we want, so do not go to that instead and be like, I don't know how to record in because I keep recording, it doesn't hear me. This is why. So I'm gonna delete that track, and let's go back in here. We'll go back to here, and you're gonna go to voice and microphones. Now, this is where things, when we eventually get to advanced uses, are gonna get a little bit more complicated, but when you click this, it might suggest, and I've had this for a while, it might suggest that you use headphones when recording. At this point, always say no to that, okay? The reason being is that the headphone mics that you use when you play with your instrument are typically going to be too close to the source of sound, and you're going to overload that microphone. Now, once you hit record and you say no to the headphones, this is the screen that comes up. Pretty straightforward. Now, if you're looking at this screen, we got one problem. Now, SoundTrap thinks it knows you, but it doesn't know you. And it thinks that it's set up something that you want, but it's not what you want. Can anyone looking at this screen tell me what the problem is? And Mrs. Baxmeyer, if you see somebody raise their hand, can you call on them and have them tell us what's wrong?
Totally. So, Arel.
Arel, what's wrong with this setup?
Is it the reverb?
Yes, A+ work. So it always defaults to reverb because what's not good about reverb? I will show you. Oh, good. Here we go. I'll show you what's good, what's not good with reverb. So I just
Reverb.
start recording. It says, we're recording audio. Please use headphones. Otherwise, you can get loud feedback noise. Believe it or not, you don't want to use this. You won't get feedback noise. When you do this, it's going to turn off monitoring. Monitoring is something where it takes the sound that the microphone's taking in and then puts it out through the speakers. Now, even if you had headphones on, you want that off because what happens is when you play, you hear it in your ear a fraction of a second later, it really throws you off something bad. If you were a producer listening to someone else play, it'd be great. But that's not exactly how we are using this right now, so that's why you don't want to do it. All right, so here we go to give you a click in, which you can't hear right now, but I'll tell you why. And then you get to record. Hey there, Wind Ensemble. How bad does this sound? I click stop. It has recorded. And now when we go back in, as I was saying before, in our work area, we can now see, here's our music. This is our playhead. It tells us where we're starting the music. So if we're recording something longer, we can pull it to the place where we want to. But since it's nice and short, we'll pull it back to the beginning. I'll go back down here to my play controls. I'll hit play. I'll tell you why. And then you get to record. Hey there, Wind Ensemble. How bad does this sound? Listen to all that juicy, juicy reverb. So I can go back in here, and now I can pull down the reverb and take it back. I'll tell you why. And then you get to record. Hey there, Wind Ensemble. How bad does this sound? Well, not as bad now, Mr. Briggs. It sounds a whole heck of a lot better. This is how I have friends on Friday nights, by the way. Anyway, so I come back in, and now I can delete that and start back over, take the reverb out. How I took the reverb out and how you get back to that screen, if you need it, which you don't always need it, is you click on the actual microphone, it pulls it up, and now you have some of these bigger controls going on. Now, let's talk about some of the other features of this that I think are pretty good. So this has a metronomic feature here, which right now is turned off, but you can see that it's down here. And it has a tempo, which is something we're all familiar with. So let's say we wanted to play and we needed to record in, okay? So we need to know when that thing's gonna start to move. And so when we hit this little gear next to the metronome, we can say how much of a count in we want, whether it's one measure or two measures, or one bar or two bars. And so when we hit record, and you can listen for the clicks, and then it goes. And now we can hear it. And the metronome will continue. Now, I can give you some pro tip. If you want to use a metronome when performing, you're going to need to use headphones during that, but have it record through the microphone, okay? If that's something that you want to do, because then the metronome will be in your ear and not coming out of your speakers, because if it comes out of your speakers as you play, the metronome is going to be part of your performance. Not bad for our purposes, but when we get into more advanced uses, I'll help you with that. Most of the time right now, if you want to use a metronome, you can go ahead and just use a metronome in the room, and I would suggest doing that. Once we get to advanced uses where you guys are going to layer your performances on top of each other, I'll give you a quick tutorial on how to put the metronome in your headphones and have the recording come through the microphone, and it'll all work out a little bit better. But truth be told, once you hit record, it doesn't really matter if you start performing right away or not, and let me show you why. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment. I'm going to ask you to be in the classroom, be quiet, and I'll show you how it all works. So I'm going to hit record, and you're going to see that it starts to move, but I'm not going to make noise right away. Now bring the noise. When I hit stop, you'll see that here, and zoom in a little bit, this is where my noise started. I can bring the playhead back. Now bring the noise. Oh man, I'm so cool even in the past. Now what I can do is there's a little adjust start here. You can see that. I can pull this back on down. So now that way it's starting closer to the beginning, not as much dead time. So when I take it back to the front, now bring the noise. Yeah, now I can bring that noise whenever I want. And that is pretty simple. And you all are more digital natives than I am, so I imagine you will find this pretty easily. Over here to the right, you'll see this light blue teal button here. This is where you can add a collaborator. So I can invite other people to collaborate with me. So in fact, Okay, server, cool. This is cool. Who didn't love that? Normally, with normal use, thanks technology, I was going to add Marty here because Marty already has an account with this through music production, which she's in. I could type in Marty's name, and what would happen is both Marty and I would see the same workspace. And in real time, we could work. You can even have this button right here that says call and have the person in a video with you and work on the project at the same time. It's really cool. And Wind Ensemble is probably going to get here first, probably in the next couple of weeks, where we're going to have you guys collaborate on projects together, where we will join instruments to play duets, even though you're not in the same room. Again, I'll do a separate tutorial for that later. Right now, we just want to make sure the process of recording and submitting are all set first. This purple button is for loops, which is more the EDM side of things. You won't be required to use them. However, if you want to have some fun, you can add some cool, sick beats to your recordings of you playing maybe more traditional music. So if you want to get creative with that, we'd love to hear what you can do. Here's where you can share it with somebody else. If you wanted to share this project, have them give you some feedback, easy to do. And of course, the all-important save button. Remember, save often. So now, when you're done, you're going to come back here, and we're going to go back to the main screen, and you will see that you have that first song project right here. It's empty right now because there's nothing going on, but if I did have something, I could hit play there and just listen to it again. Here is a loop song I created in my music production class to show you that example. Sweet, sweet loop song. Anyway, that's an easy way to do it. Now, let's talk